Hello, hello.
Hello. Welcome,
Happy
welcome.
Friday.
Whoop, whoop.
Woohoo. So, we are talking about what are the differences between Reiki and Geo Love, meaning sacred geometry, energy healing. And this question, someone who's very close to me, we were talking, and though I don't get to see her all the time, we're kind of like family. She was like, wow, I know you're an energy healer, but you never mentioned Reiki. Why don't you? And I'm like, well, because that's a different modality, right? So it just got me to thinking, and Ash and I were talking, like, okay, well, if someone who knows me so well doesn't get it or understand the difference, I think it's important for us to talk about it and discuss it, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
such a great question. I know when you mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, that most people are kind of confused, especially if you're new to any kind of, energy work or any healing modality. So I'm glad that, we're able to come on here and start the conversation.
Yes, we love conversations.
Hmm.
Who knew? I got kicked out of all my little sports when I was very young. Well, not kicked out. I was like 4 and 5, and I used to be in tap and ballet and dance and baton. But all the time, my mom would just end up taking me out because all I did was talk too much and talk to too many people. So the gift of gab, here it is, in its finest.
Yes, it's made you an amazing conversationalist.
You're sweet. That's why I love you.
Oh.
All right, so um, and I can say for myself, I know very basics about Reiki. I do not know Reiki as a practice or a modality. I have experienced Reiki healings personally. Um, and I come from this from a standpoint of what I've learned, along the way, and that'll be part of this conversation. Um, I think I spoke for Ashley and I. We love everyone's practices and modalities. So this is not like oh, we're better or so on and so forth. This is really just to get an understanding of what the differences are from our perspective, and to help you make informed decisions on your own healing journey, or maybe a combination. Maybe you do Reiki one week and you'll come to a sacred geometry and a healer the next week. So yeah. So, Ash, what would you say? So, if we were to talk about Reiki, I'm sorry because my dog wanted to start barking downstairs. um, what would you say is the essence or basis of Reiki from your perspective?
Well, just doing a little research about it. We talked beforehand when we got on here just to get like a general idea. Since we aren't Reiki practitioners, we definitely want to do it justice, right? We don't want to, explain it in the wrong way. So the definition that I found was it's centered around the idea of universal life energy, or chi, which is a form of vital energy that flows through all living beings. The practice of Reiki involves the channeling of this universal energy to the recipient to enhance the body's natural ability to heal itself through the balancing of energy. So, practitioners believe in a non dualistic energy that is the same for everyone and everything and can be harnessed for healing, emotional release, and spiritual growth. And if you are a Reiki practitioner, please comment if I got that right. If you want to add anything to that, we welcome all perspectives, everyone. So let us know in the comments. So that's basically what Reiki is. And Geo Love is, on the other hand, focuses on the use of sacred geometric patterns that are believed to be the building blocks of our universe. This modality holds that these geometric shapes carry their own vibrational energies that can influence the human energy field, promoting healing, balance, and spiritual awakening. The energy conceptualization here is more structured based on the patterns and mathematical principles that govern the cosmos, suggesting a more form-based approach to energy manipulation. So two very interesting definitions that I found, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. So we're at a baseline. Yeah.
Right.
You want to add anything to that, B?
I think just in simple terms, and what I heard you say was, for Reiki, it's really tapping into this universal energy source. Um, and for Geo Love, and they typically use their hands in locations. Um, so, and that universal energy can be harnessed to promote healing for
Mm-hmm.
Reiki. And for Geo Love, it's really tapping into sacred geometry and using them and connecting them in a way to harness that energy. Um, Maybe even if we were to connect the two, a universal source or source energy, God energy, sacred geometry is believed by many to be the language of God and is in everything and all things around us. And I think, as well as promoting this harmony and balance and healing in your body, but also I would say sacred geometry often, from our perspective or mine, works at the root of many things instead of just shifting the energy. Um, and also, I think the spiritual awakening part of Geo Love, sacred geometry healing, is something to highlight as a difference. Um, and that's not something typical that I've seen or experienced in terms of Reiki. And so I think that's an important piece to kind of mention. Um, and, they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for you and I, our spiritual awakening was part of the practice,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about some techniques and tools. But that was part of the process. And so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Reiki, what I've researched, or it's really rooted in Japanese culture,
Hmm.
and it's fairly new. It's coined in the early 20th century, versus sacred geometry is found, throughout ancient civilizations, um, and really draw from ancient knowledge and the mystical aspects of the universe's design. So that will probably be a difference as well. So yeah, you want to dive into some tools and techniques?
Yeah. So, for Reiki, what I believe that I have understood is that you don't need any tools, right? You just need your hands or whatever. Maybe even if you don't have hands, the whatever's going to come out of your limbs, and that you can do it kind of anywhere, anytime, any place. Also, that and you just need to be technically near the person for that, which is interesting though, because when I read about the three different levels, it said then you can do it at a distance. So I'm a little confused by that, but maybe that's just not my understanding. My limited awareness, but I do know for us, we do heal at a distance all the time. We
Mm-hmm.
heal people all over the world remotely. Sometimes they're on the phone, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're sleeping, sometimes they're awake. Um, and then basically, they think in terms of Reiki, they think of that using the universal life energy itself as the primary tool. So for Geo Love, we use specific shapes. Kind of think of the flower of life, the Sri Yantra, Metatron's cube. My favorite, and so funny when I was just coming to my awakening in Geo 1, I had no idea what I was getting myself into at that point. But I was like, why everybody keeps saying Megatron? Like, are they into Transformers or what? I was totally clueless. And they're like, no, it's Metatron. Metatron's cube. And I'm like, oh. Ding. So the light bulb went off. So welcome to my reawakening journey. So we basically use these symbols during meditations, visualizations, even physical integration. Sometimes you can use crystals in terms of different, think of like a crystal grid. you'd map it out, and Metatron's cube was always my favorite. So, on the body, with the body, and they use these patterns to align a person's energetic field and rebalance the chakras, cleanse and clear, awaken. Yeah. Anything else, Ash?
No, I think you covered it all. Just, that connection. I think the geometry really is used to connect to ancient wisdom and knowledge. It really opens up possibilities, and the different layerings can be used for different things like karmic clearing, um, multidimensional selves. I mean, that's a little bit more advanced, but the simpler kind of layering of very simplistic geometries, right? To achieve a certain goal, depending on the practitioner and the person who's receiving the healing. So it's a very wide range of things that it can hit and cover. I've never received a Reiki healing myself, so I've just dealt with sacred geometry. So I can't speak on that. I don't know if you want to go into an experience of yours, Brandy, that you can, because you've experienced both. So to give people kind of a feel,
Yeah.
even though it's deeply personal and subjective to each healing and to each person. Yeah, doggy, we hear you. But yeah, I think somebody from your vantage point will probably give it a little bit more justice versus myself.
Yeah, I mean, I only experienced it once, I think. So it felt very good. It felt very calming. Um, and, I just felt good after, you know. Um, there wasn't like tons of insight, right? Or reflection after the fact, where I feel like our healing sessions, because we layer the process of sacred geometry with intuition and our spiritual gifts that have been activated and expanded, there comes some insight or knowing or wisdom or feelings or what have you. So it's a little different. So I think I felt wonderful and very balanced after the fact, you know, but I just didn't have any other, there wasn't like a insight or, what have you after the fact. And I think everyone does it differently. So that may have just been my perspective. I definitely know that they were very amazing energy practitioners. I don't always right away see people's auras, and hers was one of, so I was at this spiritual retreat, and hers was one of the people who her aura just popped out, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So I know that the energy was working, and that our spirits were definitely connected. So that was beautiful. So yeah, I just felt really calm, very rooted, very balanced, in comparison to other healings that I've received from sacred geometry, Geo Love healers, um, where, I could feel just twitches and shifts in my body. I could feel, different expansion in different chakras. And then other times I wouldn't feel any of that. It would kind of feel like I was just relaxed. And then all these other insights would unfold days later. So I think because of the type of healing and the variations and the levels of what your purpose is, the experience is going to be very different, and probably because it is so unique for each person's journey. I did see online that there were different symbols in Reiki, so I don't know exactly what they are, but clearly they use different types of symbols. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of overlap in that regard.
Yes. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's just important to know that, embracing your journey, whether it is with both modalities or one or the other, whichever one speaks to you, embrace it with an open heart and just prepare to discover more about yourself and the universe around you. I mean, you mentioned with sacred geometry that, we activate spiritual gifts, intuitive gifts. You should probably do another video around that one as well. We have done a video around spiritual activation, so check that out if you're interested in learning more about that.
Right.
But definitely just embracing your own personal journey with, whichever modality speaks to you, is what we as practitioners like to embody, because we know healing is a journey. And, you mentioned earlier that every healing is you experience something different. So it's definitely like an evolutionary process. You might have a few sessions of this or that. I mean, I'm a Qigong practitioner, so I integrate many modalities in my healing journey, only because we are, multidimensional beings, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic beings. So to find different modalities to help you wherever you are in your journey right now is such a beautiful process. And, even if you're intrigued about different energy healings, it's like you're already on that path of activation. You're already being guided to receive information around these things. And that's probably why you're here too. So,
Yes, I love that.
yes.
Um, what was I just gonna say? There's something, that's funny because my mind just went like, um, oh, ding dong. So I think for Ashley and I, what's beautiful is that not only did we both train, to become master energy healers, and it took us 3 different levels to get to that space and place. Then that has also enabled us to work on and develop our own healing modality and expanding that. Um, so that is also, I think, where you're able to integrate different modalities. And then, as Oliver did, at first I had asked him and Malia, I'm like, what's the difference between Reiki and this, So they're like, oh, it's a completely different modality, So no, for us, for the Billionaires Triad, you know, working on and expanding. It's still, growing and evolving as we're growing and evolving as well, to have our own healing modality and methodology. And then hopefully to be able to teach that to people as well. So that's what I wanted to mention. I do have the beautiful diamond on today. So it's definitely connected to the diamond codes and the diamond code key pillars. If you haven't found out what your diamond code key pillar is, to get an understanding of what your archetype is as your pathway, in the world, I would encourage you to go to our website. It's thebillionairestriad.com and get your free diamond code quiz. It's really cool. And it's so amazing that I've had quite a few people who've taken it, and I'm like, oh gosh, yes, that's definitely your archetype. Oh yes, that's definitely yours. And Ashley and I got the same archetype, didn't we? Built it
Yeah.
and all of that, and we're still didn't take it together. We were so shocked, right? When we got the results, like, of course.
I think your laugh was so just penetrating into my soul when I told you what mine was. You were like, just no way.
There's just no way. I'm like, you just can't make this stuff up. It's so funny. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
gotta love the
beautiful.
diamond code.
And it's, and this came to us more for people, that are already on their healing journey and they're looking for, just the next step, right?
Right.
Like, how can I get more clarity around this? What's my next step? I've done so much healing work already. What path can I step onto next, to ascend, right? Or to continue my ascension journey.
Mhm.
And the Diamond Codes quiz is just, a perfect, free way to start, that path. So yes, please check it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we might have some beginners here as well. So I mean, if you're pulled to go take that Diamond Codes quiz and you're a beginner, I guess you're on the fast track.
And there are people who are on the fast track. We find those people somehow, you know, God just brings them to us, like, because they already know that their soul has already awakened and remembered, like they're just light years ahead of where they, I don't know if I should say should, right? Because when you say should, you should all over yourself. But it's like they should be. We're like, how did you get here? Like, how are you this incredible, vast, multi-talented, spiritually gifted being? And so it's just another way to kind of support them and help them take that to the next level, the pillars, the foundation of everything. And then when you can expand that to use the diamond codes and the 33 portals, it's just so, yeah, amazing. But we do have, I'm sure, energy people are on their energy healing journey, right? So what would we say for energy healing for beginners, using sacred geometry?
Well, I know Oliver definitely encouraged us to do our own kind of research around sacred geometry symbols. And not to say that, you're buying books or going online. It's like you can even take it into a meditation practice, right?
Mm,
Like find a symbol that you like, set an intention to receive in the highest good. Because, intention setting is the number one thing we worked on when we first started Geo Love. And then it's very important to set that intention in a high state. So you're going to get the higher self kind of intuitive nudges that you need. So take those geometry shapes into your meditation. Another way is to attend any workshops or classes. We're definitely going to, start rolling out with those. We have a lot of plans for the Billionaires Triad and incorporating so many things into building a community of like-minded souls that can be empowered and have some accountability and comprehensive support on their journey to wholeness. But if any other workshop speaks to you, all the information is needed and necessary on your journey. So do what resonates with you. Listen to your intuition, right? Another way I think you mentioned earlier is using sacred geometry in your environment. That's through objects. You can, put pyramids, right? They have those crystal, what are they called? The pyramid thingies.
the copper ones.
Yeah, they're like a orgon pyramid or something like that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know what it is, because I can't remember.
But you're saying the copper pyramid, right?
Some kind of pyramid crystal shape. Yeah, yeah. You can use one of those, or I've seen other
You can also
geometric.
have these too.
Yes, I think that's what I'm talking about. I just don't know the actual name
Yeah.
of them. So yeah, incorporate it in your environment. There's so many crystals that can help amplify energy, protect energy. I know, Brandy, you're working on a course all around crystals and understanding crystals. So make sure you look forward to that dropping, because I am.
Well,
Yes. So another key, if you're a beginner, is patience. And this is a big one for me because I am the most impatient person when it comes to things. And sometimes that could really, like, be careful what you ask for, right? I remember being in Colorado and Oliver's asking us, what do you want? Do you want a 10 out of 10 experience? And it's like, be careful what you ask for because it might knock your socks off, right? And then it takes time to integrate that kind of experience into your 3D reality. So practicing patience with your growth, is so integral, especially with Geo Love and any other healing modality like Qigong. That's a lot of patience too, to be honest. Yes, and I know I mentioned it earlier, but the community that we're building, connecting with like-minded souls, was my saving grace. I think up until Geo Love, I thought I was like the only person in the world that was experiencing things. And then I found my family, right? That, oh, everybody here is a black sheep, just like me, right?
Right.
And want to expand. They want to know more about the universe. They want a deeper understanding of their purpose and, what they want. So, if you're a beginner, just connect with other people like yourself to help you, step by step, get through the first kind of, you know, months, years of your journey.
Woohoo. So, what I heard you say for energy, people on their early energy healing journey or want to learn more about energy healing, especially from a sacred geometry standpoint, you educate yourself on sacred geometry, incorporate meditation, attend a workshop or classes, use sacred geometry in your space, place, or environment. Practice patience, right? You have to practice and you need to have patience. Everything unfolds in divine timing, as well as connect with like minded individuals to give you that support and to unfold or unpack. Because when you work with each different type of sacred geometry, right, new things come up, new experiences, sometimes even shadow work, happens, and you need someone to just kind of discuss it. Or it's like, oh, I dreamt about this, what does this mean? Or I felt like I was on the golden grid this morning and I saw all these shapes like I do when I pick up. I'm like, so what's going on? So I think that like-minded individuals having that is really helpful. So that would
Yes,
be our thought and suggestion. Yeah, for those on their early healing journey.
yes. So I think just bringing it all together with Reiki and Geo Love, they're very similar modalities, right? Offering unique pathways to wellness. So they're going to appeal to different individuals based on their personal beliefs, where they are energetically, what their needs are. And I think what Brandy and I are really rooted in is to just guide individuals to their practice of choice and whatever resonates deeply within them at the time. It might change. It might, it might move. Well, it will, right?
Yeah.
Um, but integrating different practices, helps you on that journey to find what really resonates with you, especially if you're going through activations, right? So just take your time, have, a high level of discernment in unconditional love. Know, the practitioner that you're, feel them out, right? Before you dive in. You want to choose people that, just have that high integrity, that work on, their values, that just want to be, better, amazing human beings. And, with Oliver and Geo Love, that's what really resonated with me in the beginning. That first and foremost, it's your level of vibration is your virtue. So the higher of your virtue, the more impact you're going to have, with the healing modality itself, wherever you are. So I just wanted to make that point.
Beautiful. When you said virtue and integrity, we were on for 33 minutes and 33 seconds.
Oh, confirmations. Thank
Confirmation.
you.
You gotta love the
Thank you.
little synchronicities. Yeah, I love that. And just embracing the journey, right? That's
Yeah.
really a huge part of it. This is not a one-stop shop. Um, and two, when we talked about, because we did do the videos on spiritual activation, you know, um, what is a spiritual activation? And then we did one on how do you know you're being spiritually activated, right? So what I understand is that when you're going through the levels of training, there you go through the 3 levels for Reiki, and then there's an attunement for each. And for us, we received spiritual activations through all of our different levels of training. We did also experience attunements as well. So I think that, is just a little bit of a difference in between the two of them.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah, if you're really looking to expand your spiritual gifts, if you're looking to just create more balance in your body, more harmony, more peace, you want to just feel whole and calm and present, then, connect with us. That's what we're here for. And, I'm working potentially on opening a local studio here. Ashley and I are going to try to work on opening a local studio in Bermuda, that are directly related to the work that we do as the Billionaires Triad. So, and part of our mission. And we want to train healers. We want to continue to be the gift that keeps on giving. And by us helping to activate your spiritual gifts, help heal you, whatever you need, energy clearings, energy balancing, ancestral stuff, karmic stuff, then we want to be part of that journey. So definitely connect with us. We look forward to it. It's exciting. It can be both of us. It could be one of us. Whatever way it happens and whatever way works for you is absolutely perfect, for us. And there's a lot of healers out there, people that are just naturally gifted, natural healers. My friend who's the one, she's naturally a healer. And she's the one who asked the question, and just went to her first Reiki session. So I was like, oh, go and do that. And then we'll do a session with me and see, how you feel, So yeah, and too, I just wanted to mention this about the hands-on healing thing.
Mm-hmm.
That there are people who hands-on healing could be their primary gift. I know for myself, before I ever learned anything about sacred geometry and geo love and, decided to become a healer, I used to feel people's energy with my hands when they were hurting. I would just know where it was in their body and automatically, like right now, my hands are like pulsating, probably because I'm talking about it, but I could feel that in their body. And I would just wipe my hand over it. I didn't even know Reiki was a thing. And I would just kind of like pull the energy out. I would just hold my hands like if their stomach hurt. And so I was even doing healing before I even knew I was a healer. And
Yes.
some of you people out there, somewhere in your heart that you are a healer. Maybe you just heal people by holding space. Ashley is an incredible person to hold space for people while they're losing their marbles or sobbing the ugly cry or losing their shit. She's done that for me plenty of times. And she does that so beautifully for so many people where normally it'd be like a visceral reaction because sometimes they're even just, attacking. But
Mm-hmm.
that is a gift of hers. She's just naturally a healer. So many of you, I want you to understand this is your call to action. This is the time. If not now, then when? Right? Do you want to learn
Yes.
to be a healer? Yes or no? And by all means, you could always go directly to where we learned it from. Oliver Nino, he has a new, what is it called? EME.
Oh, yeah, Mandy does.
And Oliver, yeah.
Yeah.
It's something.
I can't remember.
Right. I can't remember how they've branded it, but basically he is the spiritual activator. You can go to spiritualactivator.com. But if you want to learn to be a healer from us using, and Oliver just sent me a message right now.
Oliver!
You're bigger than any pain you've experienced in the past. How funny. So I'm sure that's his little note to us today. But having said that, if you want to learn with us and experience, learn, sacred geometry, you want to learn the diamond code methodology, you want to learn just how to be a healer, how to incorporate crystals in your healing, eventually you become the crystal. So technically you already are. It's just remembering that. Contact us, connect with us, reach out. We're really just on a mission, right?
Yes. I mean, our purpose has beautifully unfolded by just tapping into Geo Love healing one step at a time. And it's just perfectly unfolding the way that it's supposed to be. because it's all connected and we're all connected. I mean, Brandy and I, our souls, we just, re-entered back into this incarnation, was like, yeah, we're going to meet at this time and Geo Love and do the work, right? So free will governs the 3D. So or our part in the 3D. So it's making choice and decision after decision. And Oliver's like ringing in my ear right now, like, just make a decision. Don't sit on the fence, especially if intuitively you're being pulled. I remember making certain decisions and I was like, how am I making this decision right now? Reality is showing me that I should be doing this. And my intuition was so strong to go this way. And I've had many, many experiences like this throughout my life. It was just pulling me against the grain. And I listened. I chose, even though it was really hard to choose in the moment. I was like freaking out, right? Like a couple of times I was on my knees crying because how could I even think of doing this right now? With all of the circumstances around me, how can I even dream of making this decision? And I'm like, you know what, Ash? There's something within you that just is like, go, right? And I'm here because of those hard decisions. So
yeah. So even if the money you think is not there to, pay for a class or pay for a training, we get it. We've been there, right? We had no idea how we were paying for it. Was enough to pay for Geo 1. We had no clue where Geo 2 and 3 were coming from. Literally, Ashley and I had this conversation and she's like, no, I don't think so, yada yada. And I'm like, girl, you better get off this phone and go figure it out. You better figure it out. I don't know how we're going, but we're going. And guess what? Would you call me back that same day? That same day, she called me back and she said, guess what? You're not going to believe this. She was able to tap into a resource that she had that she didn't even know she had, gave me the information. So I was able to do the same thing. So I was just committed. We're going. I had no clue and no dollars and cents to pay for, what was it, like $7,000 at that time for Geo 2.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I just knew we got to go. We're going. We got to go.
yeah.
And Ashley called me back, and the rest is history. And then we had to do it with Geo 3, and I'm like, him and hawing, and Ashley's like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about, but we doing this. Okay. And here we are. Here we are.
Divine time.
Divine timing. So don't let the false reality of the 3D world, lack or not feeling like you have enough abundance to make it happen for you. You will find a way. You'll find a way. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Whew.
Yeah. And bless you. And the 3D world could be very convincing.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, so convincing. But don't let it trick you.
Don't get distracted, right, Brandy?
Yes, don't get distracted. We channeled. Is that the Anunnakis or the Arcturians that day?
I think it was the Anunnakis.
I think it was. So the first time I ever channeled in front of people, I'm at a billiard, a pool hall here. There's all kinds of people. I think it was a karaoke night, so you get the vibe. So I had to go outside. We just got this nudge. We had to meet. We had to connect. I go outside. So then I start channeling with all these people. I have my friend, Shayla. She holds my phone. I'm like, you just got to record this because I don't know what's going to happen. But literally, the channel came through. And so sometimes when you're leaning into your gift, sometimes you may feel nervous or shy or maybe embarrassed or just unsure because most people are not doing these things around you, right? Where you're going to show up to a local pool hall and someone's just channeling ancient civilizations. You know what I mean? Like, That's very, very off the beaten path. But yeah, so the Anunnaki said that day, wow, there was all this chaos going on. Do not get distracted. Do not, you know, it may seem like it's real, but it's just the illusion that you're going through to get you to the other side. So yeah, don't be distracted. Such a powerful, powerful statement. And Ash and I have really like the universe will throw you curveballs, especially when you're going to do something epic and great, right?
Yep.
Every time, not every time, but most of the time, where you're going to find is that lower vibrational energy is going to put resistance in your path, things that will show up when you are about to do something phenomenal. And you cannot let that distract you or knock you off the path or get you down. Like there's a lot that happened for Ash and I and Patu, who's not on the call, that for maybe a week or two, we didn't even speak because so much was just going on and life happens, right? We understand that life happens. But we had to keep reminding ourselves, do not get distracted, bring it back to center, stay focused. And that's how, we've made as much traction as we have with building the diamond codes and the key pillars, working on our app development, putting together our spiritual ascension accelerator course that is launching, handling social media for two women that are moms and have families and very busy lives. These things are real, but you can't get distracted. You have to overcome it. Even when we were working with mindful media, there was a very, very important email that had to go to mindful media before our appointment. And I can remember that my computer died completely the first time when writing it. Second time, it was like a draft would save, and then I went to go and send it, and then my computer died and literally shut off. I had to then go get it from another spot because it was saved in a Google Doc, and then go and send it. And in the last moment, I was able to get that to them. And that was a game change for us. That's why we have the Billionaires Triad, actually. So I can tell you everything jumped in my way, hoops and hurdles, even with going to the Heartland to Colorado for our spiritual activations, right? Think
Yes.
about how many things came up, Ash. How many things came up for you before you were supposed to go?
I was traveling through COVID, so quarantines, like what? And all of these are triggers, right? They're triggers, and I think what's most important is to realize the trigger is there to trigger gratitude for release of what's coming up. So if you're triggered against something, it's just divine saying, hey, this is just in your way. You got to release it before you go to the next step. So I've learned how to really take, like when I get triggered, I'm like, you know what? Thank you for showing me my trigger right now so I can just bask in it, be grateful that it's showing up, and I can set an intention or do energy work around it, do qigong around it, bring in Reiki, like just bring in those modalities to release that energetic thing that happened that came forth as a trigger to distract me on my way to reach my goals. So there's like this beautiful ebb and flow going. And in order to kind of push forward, it's like you have to squeeze and push. And as a doula, childbirth, like, the child's going through a very tight experience in order to feel that release and be born into the world, right? That's the same thing with every decision that we make. We have to kind of go through this. Am I going to make it? I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then you get on the other side, you're like, oh, that was the best decision ever. But it was scary in the moment, right? So building that courage, muscle, and just being around like minds really builds that, right? Being in a community, doing energetic healings once a month, building into all of those resources so we can better get back to center, like you said, get back to that vibration where you're creating and evolving and all of that. Yeah.
Yes. Woohoo. I love these conversations.
Best ever. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. And if you're
Yes.
catching
Any
this on the
questions, you can leave them.
replay, drop those comments into the comments, right? Like Brandy was about to say.
Mhm.
And any questions that you may have, if you want to know anything that we can kind of chat about and explore and just have this journey of enlightenment together. Because through these conversations, I learn, Brandy learns, anybody who's watching who wants to, just interact. We're all learning, right? We're all on different stages of our journeys and building a platform to really house that unconditional loving space for meaningful transformations, comprehensive support, just that baseline that you can come back to, that you can count on. So, yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Mhm.
Ooh, yeah, comments and your questions are what prompt our conversations. I think the next one we're going to do is fear, right? Around these different modalities, or fear when certain groups hear the term energy, right? So tune in for that next one next week. And we've already recorded ourselves with that conversation, but we're going to try to just do it live and rehash it and dig in. So definitely join us for that.
Yes.
We love you all unconditionally. Thank you for joining us. Right?
Yes.
It's all connected and we're all connected.
Yes, we are. Love you. Have a
Love
great
you.
rest of your week.
You as well.
Mm.